All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Katie Monahan. I'm a communications strategist here at the Ohio Arts Council, and I'm pleased to welcome you to today's webinar, Build Your Brand with Instagram Reels. So we are super grateful to partner with our friends at Ohio Designer Craftsman for today's presentation, and we'll learn a little bit more about them and what they do and introduce today's presenter here in just a minute. But of course, before we dive in, there are just a few housekeeping items that I need to go over. So first, everyone tuning in today is in listen only mode, but that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. If you have a question at any point during the webinar, go ahead and drop it into your Q&A box there in your control panel. We're going to hold all of the questions until the end. We'll do a dedicated Q&A session, but feel free to kind of drop those in as we go. Well, and make sure to use the Q&A box. It's way easier for us to track questions that way. We don't want to miss anyone. Next, live captioning is available for this webinar, and you can access those captions by clicking on the closed captioning icon in your control panel. And if you have audio issues or trouble connecting, we recommend refreshing your browser. And if that doesn't work, try logging off and logging back in. And also, please keep in mind that because we are presenting from different locations, there may be variations in bandwidth and internet stability. So if the sound fluctuates or the screen freezes up while we're sharing screens, thank you in advance for bearing with us. I promise we will do our best to keep on rolling through any minor technical difficulties. And next, we are recording today's webinar, and that recording will be available on our webinars page at oac.ohio.gov/webinars and on our YouTube channel by early next week. And then everyone who registered for this webinar will also receive a follow-up email containing a link to the recording and a copy of today's slide deck. And one more thing while I've got you, we hope that you'll join us in Toledo on May 15th and 16th for Arts Impact Ohio 2024. This is the OAC's Biennial Professional Development Conference, and we've got 2 full days of workshops geared toward artists like you, arts administrators, arts educators. We've got visits to local arts and culture institutions planned, performances, and of course, plenty of networking opportunities. The full agenda is getting ready to be rolled out here in the next couple of weeks. And if you register by February 29th, you can take advantage of those early bird rates and save $50. So head on over to the website. It's artsimpactohio.org. If you're interested, we'd love to have you. We hope to see you there. All right, so that is it for housekeeping. Next, I'd like to welcome Kim Nagorski, Executive Director of Ohio Designer Craftsman. Kim, thank you so much for partnering with us on today's webinar and for connecting us with today's wonderful presenter. I'll let you take it from here.
All right, well, thank you, Katie. We are really excited to be partnering with OAC today. I think this is going to be a great workshop. I just want a little bit about Ohio Designer Craftsman. We were founded 60 years ago. We're a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to support and promote fine craft artists and to engage and enrich the community through high quality exhibitions and education programs. And we do all of that here from the Ohio Craft Museum in the Grandview Heights area of Columbus. Here we do show the exhibitions. We offer all kinds of programming for all ages. And we also have several gift shops here where we offer work by over 100 artists. We promote and produce Winter Fair down at the fairgrounds every December. And our presenter today is a participant of Winter Fair, and he sells his work here at the gift shop. So we're really excited to have Scotty Jones here today. He's a great artist, a great person. And if you checked him out on social media, you know that he is a whiz kid at all of that. And he is inspired by mid-century pop culture in his work. You see it behind him there. And he combines his hand-pulled screen prints with his original textile designs to make really fun, bright, I just love them. The handbags, purses, wallets, all kinds of things. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Scotty.
Good afternoon, everybody. And I'd like to thank Kim and Katie for asking me to share with you today. If there's one thing that I like to talk about almost as much as my work, that would be Instagram. And I'm hoping that you'll learn something about Instagram Reels today if you're not familiar with them. And if you are familiar with them, I hope that maybe you'll learn a few new things. I'd also like to mention that I am a proud member of the Ohio Designer Craftsmen, even though I live in Indiana, and I really believe in their mission, and I like to participate in all the events, and I'm very thankful that they carry my work in the gift shop. So before we get started today, I thought maybe we could just take a look at some of my Instagram reels. I'm going to show you 3 or 4 reels, and then we'll jump into how to make them and what you need to do to make them your own. So I'm going to try to share my screen here, so bear with me. This is new stuff to me, sort of, so. And if this is working, you should be seeing my screen now.
Looks great, Scotty.
Okay, here we go.
Let's have some fun.
And now I hope I'm back. Am I back?
You are back.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So what are Instagram Reels? That's a question. So Instagram Reels are short videos that can be up to 90 seconds long. So when Instagram first started, it was a photo sharing application where you told what was on your mind by sharing photos, and you know, it kind of grew from there. A lot of illustrators and digital artists made a home for themselves on Instagram, and I've been on Instagram since about 2009, so I've seen a lot of the changes that they've rolled out, and I've embraced each one of them. So after their initial rollout, they came out with stories, which were a way of sharing photos that would only last for 24 hours. It was kind of their answer to Snapchat, if you will. So they evolved with new trends in social media. And so the reels that started about a year ago, 2 years ago now, were the answer to TikTok's 90-second or short content videos, if you will. And there are lots of different ways that you can make reels, but the easiest way is to do it right within the platform, which we'll get to later. Or you can also use a third-party application to make some of the kind of videos that you just saw that I put on there. When you're making a reel, you should consider whether you would want to have a creator account or a business account. So if you have a creator account versus a business account, you can use music that is broader, so you can get some copyrighted content music added to your stories. But if you're using a business account, you're not allowed to use the music that they share through the platform that's copyrighted to another artist. And the way they do that is they give credit to the artist right on your reel. And you should consider who your audience is, and more importantly, who you are as a creator. So your reels should always, um, you know, relate back to your own body of work. So I I'm a digital artist. I'm a screen printer. I'm a fiber artist. Have lots of different media that I play around with. But when I'm creating a reel, I try to put all those um, media into one um, umbrella, if you will, in the finished product. Now, if you wanted to get a little more detailed, you could do, um, a longer video where you would go in and talk more about like the digital art that you do, or the fiber art that you do. There's like subcategories that you could do, and your audience should be able to relate to the work that you're doing. In my instance, the textiles and the images that I work with all are from a mid-century era, like Kim mentioned. And so my work appeals to a large range of age groups. Older people sort of relate to it because it sparks memory, or days gone by to them, where younger people find it hip and kind of boho chic, whatever. So my work is relatable to them in that way. And then you want your work to also be shareable. So when your audience is looking at your work, you want to make them want to share it. So shareable is not a sentence or a setting in your reels. It is something you strive for, because you want your audience to share your work with their friends and their family and on their pages. So you can use 2 or 3 different kinds of third-party apps to make more complex reels than the one that I'll be sharing with you at the end. I use Video Maker for video and photo for most of the time. Sometimes I'll use a template within TikTok, or I will use the templates that are available to you right in Instagram. So if you haven't updated your Instagram lately, there's a new button at the top where they actually have loaded in some templates. So it makes it easier for you to do right there in the app itself. Then you can use CapCut, which a lot of people use. I find it to be a little bit overwhelming sometimes because there's just too many choices, which is why I like the Video Maker one. And that's one that you have to purchase, but it's only $12.99 for a year, so it's not too bad. The content that you should consider, the work would be relatable, like I said, and relevant and shareable. Reels are 5 to 15 seconds long, and your first 3 seconds of the video should try to capture them in some way. You want to show something new that you've not shown before, or use some video effect that makes people interested to watch a little bit longer, either through animation or some of the little GIFs and things that Instagram will allow you to use to add to your reel, and to try to capture their attention. The current trend in reels and on TikTok is to have text or audio. So you can actually add text right over the top of your reel, but in the reel app itself. So when you're speaking, it'll scroll up in front of them, and that's a good way to draw people into what you're trying to do. And change camera angles. You can combine, one thing that I really like to do is combine still photos with video. So I might have a little bit of a video and then a photo and then back to video. And those are all things that you can do within the app itself. And they should be pretty fast paced. So you want to keep all of the content that you've got just out of reach from your viewer, so that they have to view your reel over and over and over again. And that will get them interested enough to either save it or share it a lot of times. In my experience with Instagram, I have built my audience very slow. It's I'd rather have 2,000 followers that I engage with than just have a bunch of people following me that aren't really even watching my content. So over the years that I have been on Instagram, it's been very slow and steady building up an audience. And that's a good way to get things out as well. If you put yourself in front of the camera, I tend to get more views on the ones that I'm in front of the camera, but I don't like to be in front of the camera. And so I have to kind of make myself do that. But you do get a little more engagement by putting yourself in front of the camera. And when I do those kind of videos, I do make them a little bit longer so that people can see my processes. That's usually what those videos are about, not just the work that I'm doing right at the moment. So as a creator, you find yourself alone a lot, like you're in your studio creating. And if you're constantly sharing your work through Instagram and on Reels, it's a good way to be engaged with your audience and get instant feedback, which I really like. And the things I do to brand my work, I try to keep it consistent. So I work with the same type of music. I like a kind of funky 1950s sort of jazzy vibe. And so whenever I'm creating a reel, I always try to add the kind of music that would go along with my style. And I try to keep that consistent on every reel that I make. So it really does kind of evolve a little bit. And a lot of times the music that you'll see in my reels is actually what I'm listening to while I'm working, which I think kind of plays into that a little bit well. And if you show up every day and post every day, your brand will grow along with your audience, which is the goal of this whole thing. So you might set a little goal for yourself to post maybe one story every week or a reel every day, and you can share your reels to your stories. You can download them and share them across all your social platforms onto Facebook and to TikTok. You can put them on your website. There's a way to download a reel off of Instagram so you can put it on your website. And if you'd like to just kind of dive in and see what we can do with reels, we can do that now. So I'm going to share my screen with you again. And this might take me a minute. All right. And I've loaded some pictures. So let's go into the Reel app. So first of all, let's talk about all these buttons. So I'm assuming that you're familiar with Instagram, so you know what your home page is. This is takes you to your home. This is search. This is where you add content. This is video, and this is your profile, your followers, and all your insights, your content insights and such. So if we click on this little plus button here, we get some new options. I was working on something earlier, so I'm gonna get out of that. Up here we have a camera, so you can create a reel with the camera in the app right there. If you click that, this will add different kinds of GIFs to your app, if that's the kind of thing that you like. Let's try to get rid of that. And here is the templates button that I was telling you about. These are new. And you can go through and you'll see what your content will look like, the different kinds of frames and things that you'll have there. Just find one that you like, and and you can work within those confines.
We keep this.
But for our example, this is one that this is something new too, where they will take content that you have uploaded previously and make reels that they think
Driving
you
all night,
might
my
want to
hands wet
share.
on the wheel. I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
I would never
I've
do
been
that
driving
music.
all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
But anyway, you get the idea there. But for the purpose of our demonstration, we're going to use these buttons down here. So this is where we add a reel. And we're going to select what we want. And I've lined some things up here I think would make a good reel. So I'm going to click 5 different images here. Then we're going to go to the next
I've been
screen.
driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
Hey, Scotty,
Uh-huh.
can you mute the music on the reels? Because it's a little hard to hear you
my
over
hands
top of
wet
it.
on the wheel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
And I will take you back to how I did that. But so is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So I felt like this reel was too long. Like there's too much time spent with each one of these pictures. Like I told you earlier, I like to keep things fast paced. And the way that you can change that. So after I added my 5 pictures, I just clicked on next. And so I got this little area of Instagram. So we'll start with this first little clip here, and I can shorten it. I think it was, I want them to be about a minute and a half long, or not a minute and a half long, but a second and a half long, each one. Let's try. So get that about right there. And then you click on your next frame and you'll get the same result. And I'm just going to clip this down to be about a minute, or I keep saying a minute, a second and a half. You know what I'm saying, I think. A minute and a half would be terribly long. And the same all the way through. That's probably pretty good. Let's see if that's a little faster. That just moves it along a little faster. And then I'm going to add audio, but I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to add the audio, and then I will come back and take it out so I can talk some more. So here are your buttons down here. So the first one that I trimmed my video was the edit. You can, if you think you want to add more clips, you can do that with this button right here. If you want to add an extra one, I'll show you how to do that. Sometimes I do want to add something extra. And so here we have that. It's at the end. And it's going to be too long, so we're going to shorten that. And these are all things that you'll just kind of learn yourself, you know, what you like.
Scotty, question
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah.
If, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think this might be a good place to ask this. If for some reason somebody wanted to move like that clip that you just added at the end to
Mhm.
the middle, is there a way to do that?
Yeah, so you see these little up and down buttons there?
Mhm.
You can add them in right there.
Can you show us how to do that?
Yeah.
how you would rearrange those?
Yeah, let's try that. You got a sneak peek of my new screen print up there at the top.
Ooh.
Well, these are add-in transitions. I'm sorry. I was wrong about that. Oh, I just did that. Well, maybe you can't put it in someplace else. I think you just have to do it at the end. But I'm
Okay,
glad you asked that.
Someone in the comments mentioned that you can highlight the frame and then click reorder at the bottom.
Yeah,
As an
that's right.
option. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestions.
Right there you
folks.
go. Yeah. And then you can just
There we go.
push it to right wherever you want to. My app updated it and I didn't know it until this morning. So some of these things aren't where they used to be. So so that's what I'm going on here.
Constantly learning. Thanks for
Yeah.
indulging my question and curiosity.
No, that's
Carry
good, 'cause
on.
it brings me to a point that I wanted to share. So where these little buttons are here, the little white ones, you can add a transition there, which that'll make your reel a little more interesting. So we'll add this one, and I'm going to apply to all of my frames. So now it won't just be kind of like a slideshow. It will actually transition into that. So to use the transitions, you'd probably want to have a little longer video there. And these are all just little things you play around with. And that's a little better, I think. I've got too many of the same pictures in there. I wouldn't do that usually. So let's trim some of that out of there. These are all the different kinds of transitions that you can choose. That one seems to suit me a little better. But I'm going to go back out of here and start this again. So I can show you how to add music. And here's where you find your music and the music button. So this is one I thought would be good for my cat video today. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I think you may need to unmute. Yeah.
Let's try to go back. I got a little too carried away there. Can you hear that?
No, I still can't hear it. I think it might be muted from when I asked you to to turn it down. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let's see if we can just make it work. There we go.
There we go.
So you can see what the difference is.
Hello, baby.
So when you're ready to share, you would want to change the cover to something that you like. So you can, and this is where, when I was telling you about, engaging people, you can choose something from your camera roll, or you can use one of the pictures inside of your reel already. So I'm just going to find a close-up to make my cover. So when that shows up in somebody's feed, hopefully they would want to get a little more engaged. And so then now we would write, what we want to say about the video. So I'm just going to write something brief like cool cat with a K. And no, not K. And then this is where you'd want to put your hashtag. So the way that I do that is I keep them here in my notes. And then I can just copy them and paste them. I use the same hashtags on almost everything. Now, sometimes I might want to add something a little extra, but that way you don't have to type in each one of your hashtags every time you do a video. Oh, cat disappeared. And then you just hit share. That's a gallery I follow in Los Angeles. All right, so here I can mute and unmute. And here you can share your right to your story. Or you can download it to your device. And it'll save it right on your device. And then you can share it across all of your social media platforms. Okay, now we'll come out of here, see if there's any questions.
Scotty,
Yep.
I was wondering if you could just run through that one more time. Just
Sure.
for us beginners, just a
Okay.
real quick, but
Okay, we can do it. We'll just do another one. You want to do another one?
yeah, if that's
Yeah,
okay.
and Scotty, I think can you go a little slow at the beginning and just really show us how to, oh, my video is messed up, and just really show us how you started the new reel, what you clicked on, like for us newbies who don't
Okay,
live in the
sure,
real world, if you can, if you can take it a little slow and
sure.
you can keep it simple, but yeah, I think that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay. So another thing I forgot to mention too is when, this is about branding your work. So my reels oftentimes have, more than oftentimes, almost all of them have this kind of um, gradient background to it. And so the way that I accomplish that, I want my reels to look uniform, whether, it might be a different piece in the reel itself, but I want it to be instantly recognizable as my work. So I always add my name, and I work with this gradient background that I create in Procreate, which is a whole nother class. But you could have the same, you could set up like a little backdrop when you're taking photographs of your work and have the same backdrop in it, or you could position your work in the same way every time. Just something that makes them all sort of uniform. I forgot to mention that. So I'm glad that we're going back, because I did want to kind of mention that. So, all right. So we're going to start all over. I'm going to make a new reel for you. And if I get to going too fast, Katie or Kim, just jump in and tell me to slow down. And I apologize. I get talking a little fast when I'm kind of nervous, and talking to a big group of people sometimes makes me nervous. So anyway, here we go. So let's see. Let's start. Let's find something else to.
Hey, Scotty, I think we may have lost you. I can't see you.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't see your screen. I'm staring into the abyss. There you are. Okay, we got you back.
all right. Can you see my screen still or no?
I can see you, but not your screen.
All right, here we go. I turned it off. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay, there we go. Thank you.
All right. Now you can see me on my screen, or just my screen?
We can see both of you.
Okay,
Fantastic. Yes.
here we go. So we'll just make a new one, and we'll just use my new screen print that I'm getting ready to do. So let's see. We will start with this one. With any luck, I'll be printing this afternoon. So I like to start with 5 images.
I've been driving
usually.
all night, my hands wet on the wheel. There's a voice in my head that drives.
And this one is inside of a template. So I have video and picture, which we probably don't want to do. So let's get rid of that. We'll start here instead.
I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel.
Now we can edit our clips and get rid of that music. So I think those are good. So this one I think is a little too long. So we're gonna shorten that. And the number you see there, that 162, that's 1 second. That's 1 second, not minutes. And I like it to be about 150. Same here. All right. Now we're just previewing it without music just to see if we like how fast it's going, how not fast it's going. If you want to make it longer, you can go back and add more time to it. And we'll go back and add some music. And I'll just, for the sake of the example, I'll just use the same music I used in my cat video. But here you can search for any music that you want. So like any song that you've got stuck in your head for the day, or if there's just something that you like. These are songs that I have used before, so they show up here. Let's try this one and see how that works. And this down here is where you would pick the part of the song that you want for your video. So you can scroll this through there and pick the part of the music that you want to line up with your reel. They'll suggest an area for you, but if you want to time it a certain way, this is where you can do that. And then this is where we would write our description of what it is. And I should still be able to copy and paste. So I just go to my notes where I have all the hashtags I like to use and copy them all. And I just go back to Instagram and paste them in. And we are ready to share. And then if you want to share it to your stories, so your stories are part of this here. And you hit the little paper airplane. At least that's what I call it. And then you've got choices here where you can share them. You can share them directly to Facebook if you want to. You can add it to your story. And that's what, and then in there you can position it if you want to have it more of the screen or do an interesting angle or something like that. Or you can download it right to your computer or to your device. And you hit the download button and it should be there. So, any questions about this part of it? You want me to stay in the app?
I think we can pop out of the app for now. Thank you so much for walking us through that again. I think it was really helpful to see it again a second time. Appreciate
good.
your patience and willingness to do that. But I think we actually have quite a few questions, Scotty. So if you want to stop screen share, I'm going to share my screen here. And here we go. All right, so let's get rolling with these questions. There are a lot of questions specifically surrounding hashtags.
Okay.
So first of all, it's how important are hashtags for Reels, and how many? I noticed you had quite a decent amount there. Like, what's an ideal number for engagement, for connecting?
I would say hashtags are very important. So like they're very high on the list of importance. So if you want people to find you, that's how they're going to do it. So when you're in Instagram or you're on TikTok and you're interested in something, let's say mid-century modern handbags, for instance, you would do a search for that. So that could be one of your hashtags. So if somebody's looking for a mid-century modern handbag and you've got a hashtag, it's going to show up in their search results. So that's how they're going to find you. And I have a lot of hashtags. So let's see, I can tell you what they are. These are the ones that I use all the time. So I have fiber artist, screen printer, digital artist, fiber art, screen print, screen printing, surface design, textile designer, fabric design, digital art, digital collage, pop art, functional pop art, atomic era, atomic art, atomic fabric, mid-century modern, handbag designer, festival artist, earthy fiber art, which is the name of my business, and Indiana Artisan, which I'm a member of in Indiana. So those are the hashtags I use all the time. Now, I will add them. So let's take, for instance, our cat example of the handbag that I did with the cat on it. I would add black cat, stylized cat, mid-century cat, whatever's relevant to the video. But the ones that I just read to you are the ones that I use on every single thing that I put on. And so, yeah, they're very, very important. And that's why you should keep them where you can copy and paste them instead of having to, type them out every single time you do a reel or a video. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. And I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to go back to it. So somebody was asking a question about finding hashtags that really connect with your audience. And it sounds like what you did was kind of go out there and search subjects similar to what you're putting out there and see what's performing.
That's right. Yep.
Fantastic. And you also, it looked like you kept your hashtags in like a notes app or something on your iPad there.
Yeah, I kept them in my notes app on my iPad. Like if you're not an iOS user, you could use Pages, or I'm sorry, Word or something like that. Just keep a document saved right on your desktop, and that way you don't have to add them every single time you post something, because that's really tedious and it makes me not want to post them. So that was a tip I learned from someone else, and it was really good.
That's great. We're all about efficiency. We love efficiency, right?
Yeah. And you can even time the time of day. Like if you're sitting around and watching TV of an evening, you can photograph your work while the things that you might want to turn into a reel, and you can keep it with you on your device, and you can make a reel and save it, or use a third-party app to even actually post it at the time that you want it to be posted. You don't have to do it all at once. So
yeah, that's fantastic too. So you're not like living completely tied to your phone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of timing and engagement, there's a lot of questions about engagement too. Have you noticed, is there a particular time of day that you post that gets more engagement? Do you have any recommendations there?
Yeah, so for me personally, and these are so in your Instagram app, there's analytics. So when you go to your profile, it'll say view, I think it says statistics or something like that. When you click on it, it'll show you, I can show you that. You want me to go back and show you that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
Here, I'll stop my share here.
Let's do that, because I'll butcher it if I try to just make it up. So
it's much easier to see it and walk yourself through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm exposing myself. You're going to see all of my analytics. But
it's very brave of you.
Here we go. So here I have my professional dashboard. So I've reached 1,000 accounts in the last 30 days. That's what it shows right there. And when you click on that, it'll show you how many accounts you've reached, how much engagement you've had, how many new followers, the content that I've shared. This shows you like little rewards that you've earned by being consistent. Instagram rewards you if you're consistent. You show up more in the For You page, which is what everybody wants if you stay with that. But content here, these are what I've shared in the last 30 days. And let's go to one specifically, and they'll all have an insight on them themselves. So this already shows me the accounts that I've reached, and if this was an older one, it would also show like the demographics, like male or female, time of day, all of that kind of stuff. All that stuff is found in the insights from your reel itself. And so what I have found is, for me personally, sharing at 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning seems to be the time of day that I get the most views. And why that is, I don't know. But Wednesday mornings at 11 o'clock, if I have something very important that I want to share, like a show that's coming up or something like that, I'll be sure to get it on Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Another time I have a lot of views seems to be Sunday, kind of after dinner, before bed. People have had the weekend, they're home, they're thinking about, what's going to happen the next day, and maybe they're taking some time for social media before they go to bed. So if you just think about your audience and what they're doing, that's when you want to try to post, because you want to post when your people are on. So, but those analytics, studying them, that'll show you that. That's another thing too. Whenever I'm getting ready to do a show in another city, like I'm getting ready to do American Craft in Baltimore, Maryland. So 7 days before I go, I'll turn it into an ad, and I can go in and create my audience and how many people that I want to reach. And so I always set my budget for $15, and I can usually get about 30,000 people to see that for $15, which is pretty good. And it'll just show up in the For You page. So they don't realize they're looking at an advertisement. I can't tell you how many times I've been at a show and somebody will stumble into my booth and say, "You showed up on my Instagram page." And I'm like, "Really? That's cool. Like, I wonder how that happened, but yeah, so I make sure that I always blast before any show. So it promotes not only my own work, but the show itself, to try to get people there. So that's another way you can use it.
You just answered, that was going to be one of the next questions that I asked. Somebody was asking about if you pay for ads and how that works. And
Yep.
so can you explain again? So do you have a business account or a creator? Can you talk a little bit about the?
Yeah, I used to have a business account, and I learned from another creator that, and I was always frustrated with the music. Like it was just not what I really wanted. And I'm just going to be brutally honest. The music they allow you to play for free on a business account never will be in a trending thing. So you're never going to show up. Like if there's a trending song, like I can think, the Marvelous Miss Maples dance, that was going crazy last year, and it kind of fit my work. So I was using that, but it would show up at the top of the results a lot because it was a trending audio. But if you're using the free ones that you get with the business account, they're just not going to show up that way. So if you switch to a creator account, you have greater access to music. Now, the one thing that you can't do when you're doing that is you can't make a link to something to buy using that music. So like you can make your reel and then lead them to your website, but you can't let them click on the item itself and buy it with a sound bite that's copyrighted music. But that's not what I'm trying to accomplish, so that doesn't matter to me. I want everybody to, I always want people to, I always want more profile views, and I want people to go to my website. So when you're picking out how you want to promote something, those are questions that they'll ask you, like what are you trying to accomplish? So
Thanks, that's really helpful. And then a creator account is a paid account?
nope, it's
Not a
absolutely
paid
free. Yeah, and
Okay.
if you've already signed up for a business account, which is also free, it's just a toggle in your settings. You just go to settings and you just decide you don't want to be a business account anymore, and you just want to be a creator account.
Fantastic. That's a nice, easy transition. I like that.
Yep.
Now to kind of shift just a little bit, I know we're coming close to the end of our time, but if Scotty, if you're willing to kind of stick around for just a few more minutes to
Oh,
answer a
sure,
few
I
more
have all day.
questions, if folks want to stick around, just a reminder, we are recording this webinar. And so if you have to pop off at 3, we'll send you the recording. You won't miss anything, but thanks, Scotty, for agreeing to stick around for a few more. So the next questions have to do a little bit with about your process. So, you've talked about, you don't really enjoy being in front of the camera, but it is something that the people love. The people love you being in front of the camera, right?
Yes.
So what do you use to photograph yourself while you work? Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so the video, I'll share my screen again, okay? And I can talk, I'll mute it and I'll talk about it as we're going through it. Okay, so this video here, I had over almost 3 hours of view time, which is an insane amount of time people watched this video, considering it's, a minute long. So I had,
Show me how you do.
and we can look at the insights and maybe it'll show you. So I engaged with 1,354 accounts being in front of that camera, even though I hate it. I had 92 likes, 19 comments, and 2 people saved it. I reached 551 new accounts, and my real interactions were 110. And you can see the audience was made up of 475 followers and 76 non-followers. And the lighter blue is the followers. So you can see here I had 737 plays, 572 initial plays, and 165 people rewatched it. I had 3 hours and 6 minutes of view time with an average watch time of 19 seconds, which is perfect. That's right where you want to be. And now we'll go back to this. So you can see here, there's an angle here of me doing work. And then we're going to switch to another area of my studio. So the way I did that was I have a tripod that I have my phone on. And, it's one like you see with the light ring on it. I just set it up at my work table and looked at it so I could see that it was on what I wanted to show. And then I literally just moved it around the studio, and I made maybe 6 or 7 different little videos. So you don't have to just post still pictures when you're making a reel. You can post 6 or 7 videos in a row to make up one long video. So that's how I did that. All right, I'm going to go back to you all.
Thank you for talking us through that. That was really helpful. We'll do just a few more. This one is really interesting. I don't know if you'll have examples. I may look to our individual artist programs office to see if maybe they have some examples, or maybe Kim knows. So So somebody was asking if you have any examples of how poets and writers, some of our literary artists might be using Reels. Have you seen anything like this?
No, but I would imagine that they're using the text to the captions. So I'll go back and show you that because I did leave that out, and that is something that's important. So we'll go back to my screen again. Sorry, I keep flipping back and forth. Would it be easier if I just stayed in the app?
Yeah, I think you can just stay there. Well, I think we'll maybe
You know-
make this our last one. You can show us, and then while Scotty's kind of getting into this, I just wanted to say to everyone, you know, if we didn't get to your question and you had a really burning question, feel free to email me the question, and I will follow up with Scotty, and we'll make sure we get some answers for you.
Feel free
but-
feel free to send me a message through Instagram, and I will be happy to help you.
Thank you, Scotty.
So when you're starting a reel, the caption thing, and because I don't have any audio, so this would answer that question, a poet or that sort of thing. I'm just going to select one picture just so I can show you the icon. So you would go here, and this little happy guy up here, that little square with the smiley face. You click on that, and you can see captions. And you just click on captions, and if you're reading something or you're talking, it automatically translates it to captions that scroll through your whole reel. And you can edit the font and how big it is and where it's placed on your reel. So that's how you would do that.
So thank you for being willing to hop in and out of things and talk us through. This is so fascinating. It's like a whole new world in there. And I have a feeling that, like you said, it's one of those things where once you get around in there and start playing around in it, there's new things that come out every day, but you kind of start to get a feel for how it works. Yeah, it takes getting in there and playing around.
I learn something new every time I'm making a reel, really. Like the minute somebody told me one time, when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. So you can always learn something, that's a good thing.
I love that. Well, thank you, Scotty. Kim, did you have anything else you'd like to add? Any other questions?
I don't think so. Thanks, Scotty. That was great.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to walk us through this, Scotty. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Just as a reminder, yes, we are recording this. It will be on our webinars page on the Ohio Arts Council's website at oac.ohio.gov/webinars. By early next week, it'll live on our YouTube channel, and then you'll also receive, if you registered for today's webinar, you'll also receive an email with the link and the slide deck and everything there. So we hope this has been helpful, and you can go forth and create some amazing reels, get some engagement, make some connections, and get your work out there. So we love our artists here at the Ohio Arts Council, and we really appreciate the partnership with Ohio Designer Craftsmen. So thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.